Good morning, everybody. Please take your seats for this great little update we got coming up now. My name is Matt. I own the hotel and the store down in Crescent Mills, and today I'm emceeing. We've got a pretty short agenda. We've got a small team, small group, so we should be able to get through this pretty fast with plenty of time for networking and chit chat and cookies and all that stuff at the end.
Cookies, yeah.
Cookies, yeah. So if you're hungry, if anyone's hungry, you got cookies and bananas and some drinks. Okay, so first up on the agenda. Oh, sorry, we've got the mission thing. Yeah, go together. Okay, the Dixie File Long-Term Recovery Group, DFC, is a collaboration of non-profit, faith-based, local, state, or national organizations that work together to share information and resources that can help address the needs of individuals and families affected by the Dixie wildfire. The stated mission of the DFC is working to fulfill the unmet needs of Dixie Fire survivors and helping to rebuild the communities of Greenville, Indian Falls, Canyon Dam, Warner Valley, and surrounding areas of Plymouth County. All programs shall support this mission and purpose, and all who work for on behalf of the DFC shall understand and adhere to that purpose. Okay, first up, we got Dr. Dan with the Treasury's report.
Careful with that, Dr. Dan.
Are we bleeding?
It's for those that don't get email from me, that it's my email handle, and it comes from my loving sister.
Oh.
Okay, and it's because I have this aversion to one-syllable addresses, so that's why people know, don't call me Dan. I'm a Danny or a Daniel. And my loving sister, you know, she got to Dr. Dan, but the rest of it is 007. Interesting. This is the Treasury report. So it's a kind of summation of things that we have going on. It kind of helps it. So we had interest that came in, so it increases the net money that we have to allocate to need. So we're now at $3,093,723.15. I'm getting good at that. These big numbers now. Within the last period, so sent in April to in May, between May and June, this meeting, we did approve the Dixie Fire canopy project for $50,000. So it increases the grants that we have approved and paid out as $1,106,484.17. And our expenditures, we don't have any new expenditures since the last meeting, so that have been recorded, but we do have, I do have invoices in waiting for me to go ahead and note those as expenditures. But so this puts our balance at $1,730,448.89. And you know, you could do the math here, folks. So you could take that 3 mil and subtract the 1 mil and the 257,000 from that, and you should come up with that balance. So yeah, trust me, my name's Jimmy. So we have the commitments. We have an increase in commitments of $7,000. Is a part that we're helping to pay for the youth summer design program that's going to be going on through the charter school in Taylorsville. And so this would take into account the additional commitments along with the total expenditures we have. We come up with total outflow of things that we're committed to going out as $1,675,294.26, or 54% of the money that we have currently, we have brought in currently. And so that leaves available for usage $1,418,428.89. So that's the summation. Now I'll kind of roll through and kind of look at what it is. And I like that slide, but we can just stick with this one here, maybe going forward. I guess I had some feedback. Is that previous slide better, or is this better for looking at? Because this is virtually the same information and just highlighting on that. And you can tell me which one you prefer later. But if we just go forward from here, so there's no change here, and I've just highlighted there the interest income, if that was the change, and the other changes in blue. And if we look at that previous slide, the one thing to look at there is I highlight there in blue where the changes come from. So we go forward there, Tyler, thanks a lot. One more. And there's no change in the grants here, so we'll go to the next slide, and it shows the additional grants that have been applied, and then we show here that we have that $50,000 in grant to the Dixie Fire Canopy project. And I know I wasn't here last month to talk to you about things, about the treasurer's report, but if you look up above that, we have that rancher contribution of $30,000 or $300,000. That came in, as well as I believe the Roundhouse rebuild project wasn't showing previously. So what's presented here, but I'll let you guys know that if you go out to Dixie Fire Collaborative webpage, go to the steering committee page, go all the way down to the bottom, you can see this information as well. So it's right there. So if you go back and capture that, all right, go ahead. So here's our expenditures. And I think we have just here a little increase in expenditures that wasn't shown last time for the website, that it is on that page, the report out page that I produced for May. And also the Zoom account was additional $159. There comes out to brings that up to $309. Go ahead. And so here we have just the increase in the Plymouth Rural Services, Secretarial Services information account there, what we paid out there. And so our total expenditures as reported in the summation slide is at $257,190.89. And once again, that balance I already reported out here, so it shows again. We go ahead to the next one. And here is this total commitments and of importance here was that Plymouth Strong, that youth summer design program. And actually, kind of what's Plymouth Strong there? Actually, it goes through Plymouth Strong as a 5013C. They're going to pass that on for that youth summer design program. And that was a total, go ahead with the total commitments. And then this is just, once again, actually shows and gives you a little bit of the math. This divided by that, you know, total income divided by total outcome is gonna, or flip that around, I'll get it right. It'll come up with our, what the percentage we have expended and they're available. So that's the end of my report. And we'll move on to the next person. I'll hand it to Matt.
Thank you, Danny. So next up, we got Joe. I just want to mention a couple of things about some of the grants, the recent grants. So one is the Canopy project. Has anyone in here signed up for free trees? Great, awesome. That's great. A lot of people getting them, around 100 houses and businesses should be receiving trees over the next year or so. And then the other one was the Roundhouse, which you can see just out here. So the Roundhouse is going to be opening. They're having a party on next Thursday, which is the 20th, and it starts at 12:30. And everyone's invited, and it's going to be a really, really good community thing, and see what they've built, and what they're gonna use it for, and all that stuff. So please, everyone, put that in your calendar. Okay, next up is Joe. Thank you.
Hey, good morning. Joe Hoffman, Plymouth National Forest. I'm the district ranger on the Mount Huff Ranger District. I've shown this map several times. It's the North Fork Forest Recovery Project that we've been working on with Sierra Institute as our partner in the NEPA planning process. And NEPA is National Environmental Policy Act. When I was last here in April, I was given a heads up about releasing our draft environmental assessment for this project area. It's 167,000 acres roughly. It's all Forest Service land, no private land in there. So the draft environmental assessment goes into detail on the proposed activities, which I'll get into in the next slide a little bit. I've mentioned them before. But the environmental assessment looks at it basically has to demonstrate regulatory compliance for those activities. And it also gives everybody a chance, private individuals, stakeholders, regulatory people usually weigh in on a 30-day comment period. So that when the draft EA comes out, and we were shooting for May, we got held up by a new regulatory direction that had us have to rework a little bit of it. And so that's what put us back a few weeks, but we expect it to go live for a 30-day comment period. Let's see, what's the last Friday of this month? Whatever the last Friday of this month is, I think it's the 24th or the 25th, something like that. 27th, 8th. Thanks, thanks, Sherry. 28th, yeah. It gets published in the Mountain Messenger because that's like one of the few papers that are publishing around here at this point in this area. And we have to have a newspaper of record that says, here's the legal notice, the 30-day comment period starts. So Mountain Messenger is just the only one that works for us at this point. But the main point is that that's when folks will be able to get it off the website and review again the proposed activities that we reviewed, or you had a chance to review last fall, but now also the environmental assessment and the assessment of effects for that. It's a significant milestone getting that out for comment, because this is where, again, everybody gets a chance to weigh in on the activities, and whether, for the people that are kind of our watchdogs on the Forest Service, it gives them a chance to tell us, whether we're doing enough to protect whatever interests they have. So that's a big step, but it also is a big step because a lot of work goes into that, to try to demonstrate and describe, and something that can be read and understood. That's the hard part for something that's this big, 170,000 acres. So that was Sierra Institute putting together, doing a lot of that work, and also the forest staff that are reviewing that work, because eventually, this is a forest project. It's not Sierra Institute's in the end, they're our partner, but the Forest Service could be signing off on this action. So we got staff reviewing it closely. And so, yeah, culmination of a lot of work should come out last Friday. We'll try to we will get a press release out to let everybody know it. And then we'll be sending out letters, probably via email, to people who have signed up before that they're interested. So that'll let everybody know that that's the 30-day comment period. And that's a big step for getting the planning done. Because once the NEPA is done for this year, then that gives us, then we've got this area to work in, 170,000 acres that we can then start implementing projects. And that's a big step. So yeah, big step in that direction. Taylor, if we go to the next one. This is not a detailed list of the activities that we're doing, but I'll just touch on them. We've gone over this in the past. This is more the purpose and need, which is a NEPA term, but it just describes, why are you out there? What are you trying to accomplish with this project? And so these are more goals, forest health and watershed resilience, restore resilient forests, manage invasive plants and promote native plants, restore the landscape, and including recreational features, but also just in general, forest health. But around recreational features are included in there. We proposed in this EA, and there'll be a map in there that shows about 40 miles, I think, of new trail that's proposed, most of it non-motorized. Couple nice systems that we're proposing that could be accessed from town here, non-motorized, for hiking, recreation, also near Taylorsville. A lot of the areas close to town are private lands. So we can propose what we want on forest land, but people have to be able to get to them. So, but I think we got those things worked out too. So that'd be one thing to look at. Check out the map on that, the proposed trails. And if you have comments on those, this would be the time to do it. Main roads, of course, we got hundreds, maybe 1,000 miles of road in the project area. We need to maintain them. Community protection and strategic fire management. So this is the first overall purpose. This is the second one. So we're trying to reduce wildfire threats around communities, infrastructure, protect cultural resources, and work with our tribal partners, hopefully to implement projects, improve public safety, hazard trees, et cetera. Hazard trees along private properties. Once we get through this phase, we'll be ready to go and be taking, where are the priorities, trying to figure out where are the priorities for burn lands, burn Forest Service along private areas, but then also along roads. We've already started on some of the roads for hazard trees. Provide diverse economic opportunities and invest in community partners. With a project area that big, there's going to be lots of opportunity for partners. So it's kind of, Sierra Institute's been helping us primarily so far with this NEPA planning, but man, when we get to implementation, it's come one, come all. We'll be looking for all kinds of help because it's such a big area. I think that's all I got. We'll do questions at the end, right? Yeah. The next one, Taylor, is just a map in case people were interested in other stuff on the forest, but I went over that last time, so I'll just pass on that for now. Okay, thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Joe. Wow, 170,000 acres. That's huge. Okay. 170,000, yeah. So Joe, is Joan up next for the NBCSS? Yep.
I don't really have much for everybody. We're mainly working on Covered California applications right now for everybody that's trying to go through that program and see if they can get funding for the housing and also for the remediation programs that are available. So we're working with everybody to work with the case managers from Covered California to make sure that everybody gets the proper paperwork in. So that's kind of our main focus right now as far as the casework that we're doing right now. So we're trying to focus on that and also to process whatever SUN applications people might have as far as now that people are able to look forward to maybe getting housing, that maybe there might be some smaller needs that we might be able to help people with. Maybe if they need some furniture or smaller appliances, things like that, that we might be able to make application through the SUN program to get them some of their smaller needs met. As far as, you know, just some of the small things that come along with resettling into a home or whatever. So those are basically what we're focusing on right now with people, as you well know, at least as far as MBCSS is concerned. We did not get a renewal from FEMA or any of our other sponsors for allowing our program so far to be renewed in August. So we're still pursuing whatever other avenues we might have available to us. It's not looking real good, but we keep our hopes up and hopefully we'll still be able to do the work that we're doing, but it's not looking real great for us. So the date right now for the end of our contract is the 24th of August. So if we do not get funding from someplace, and I don't know where that would be right now, we won't be able to continue our program. So with that in mind, all the more reason that we are really concentrating on getting people ready to go on their own and getting them really well prepared for moving on, working with Covered California on their own, and also making sure that if there's anything that we can get for people, we get it for them and we get applications in for it as soon as possible and get them squared away. So I'm not quite sure if PRS has some other avenues that they can look into that we don't have, being a county agency. I don't know, but we are, you know, a different situation. So we're working on what we can do, but you know, it's not looking good. So we can't seem to make FEMA understand that our special circumstances through COVID, through the weather situation that we had with that awful winter, through the situations that we've had as far as, you know, just the things that have come up and the hardships that we've had to try and be able to work through the system, as far as trying to get our PG&E settlement so that we could move forward with our housing situations. All of these things have made our timeline and a lot longer than maybe they understand the kind of situations that we've had, and even the fact that in our case, we're a different kind of disaster than maybe a flood or a tornado, because we can't reuse our foundations. A lot of those other places, they can just start to rebuild on what they have. We had really, really difficult situations as far as our soil and those kinds of situations, and we couldn't even begin to look at a foundation until we had been able to clear those soil situations. So that put us behind the 8 ball too. So they're saying, you know, why aren't you further along, blah, 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 blah. And we're saying, take a look at, you know, not only that, but just the logistics of where we are. Just getting a piece of lumber from point A to point B for us is a different situation. But, you know, they don't hear us. And unfortunately, you know, that's what we spend a lot of our time doing here at MVCSS, is pleading our case. And we do have a visit coming from them here in the next month or so. And once again, we're going to beat the drum if we can't do anything for our situation here. We've done as much as we can to plead our case. We'll be pleading our case for the next disaster, so that maybe they'll hear and have, you know, ears for the next people, because it's really sad when they can't understand that, you know, we're in a different situation. The rural situation is a lot different, and we face a lot of adversity, and you know, our communities need a lot of help. So anyway, we're here for you guys as long as we can be. And I always tell you, we love you.
Thank you very much, Joan. So one thing that the community's been working on is a new park design. So just opposite from the dollar store, we're going to be building a new park, and we'd like your feedback on the proposals. So if you'll look at the back of the room, you can see those 2 maps. One of the maps is more like kind of natural park. The other one's more like recreational, kind of human-centered. So, but they're very similar. But at the end of the meeting, when you get in one of the cookies, having a Coke, have a look at the map, and there's a feedback form on our website. There's a QR code there as well. You can use your phone to get to the feedback form, but we'd love your feedback between the 2 ideas and other ideas for this park. It's going to be really nice between the road and the river. Lots of opportunities for parties and barbecues and all that good stuff. Okay, next up, we have Jeannie and Julie to give us an update on the thrift store.
Yes, we're the 2 J's.
Jeannie and Julie show.
Yep.
Oh, oh.
I get the blue one. Thank you, Shayla. You're doing, oh, I am. I'm already confused. Okay, I don't know if any of you went by the thrift shop this morning. You'll notice there's Easy Ups up. We are having a celebration today of our first anniversary from 1:30 to 3, and you are all invited. We'll have light snacks. Okay, thank you. We'll have light snacks. You handed it to me all. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. One of the things that we're doing is recognizing people who helped us get the shop up and running. And so if you were one of those, you're especially invited because you're going to be recognized. Also, we have had a bench made in honor of Corky Porterfield. She was our president that passed away this last November. The Way Baby is going to be open special for us until about 6 o'clock tonight. So just be sure to visit them, because that guy who works there likes to comment when you don't buy food.
Next slide.
Yeah.
Am I on? Yeah, I'm on. Okay, as you may know, we've been very successful since we've been before this. This was our building in the winter of 2016, and It's pretty big. We didn't think it was big enough. Little did we know. But it had all kinds of stuff in it. And that after the fire, it was determined that we needed a community gathering place and that the thrift shop would fit very nicely in that. So that's how we got started after the fire. Hopefully we'll look like that again someday.
Okay, our Rotary friends, thank you very much. And subcommittee, we call it the SPOT, started meeting once a week to figure out how to put land and buildings together. Kest Porter got his unused Greenville High School trailer for us from the school district for a whopping $1. Then we had to find funding for the company to move it to the spot. We had a site that was to watch. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, those the buildings coming over and getting ready to be set up.
Okay, next slide. Then our Greenville Rotary Group, again, and friends of the club, along with Randy Hovland and Jim Dolphin and their crew, wrangled permits and equipment and materials to put the building back together. Everything from the ramps and stairs and the electrical and water and the tie downs and everything was done by them. It kept them busy for quite a while, and it was very fun to watch, except we wanted it to hurry.
Next, our volunteers started cleaning and filling the insides. People donated more racks and bookcases and cabinets. We had clothing and household items in storage from before the fire there in Crescent Mills. As soon as we let community members know we were accepting donations, we got more to put out for our customers and to fill our storage unit full. From left to right is Jeannie Souza, Donna Ambiel, Corky Porterfield, Rhonda Reams, Ray Beckman, and Ruth McRoberts.
The first group of volunteers.
Yeah.
We had fun. It was fun. Finally, in June, we were ready to open, and our opening was, the grand weekend was in June roughly 15th. Now it's 1 year later. Thanks to Rotary again for bushes and flowers and the drip water system, and to Mickey, is it Trammell? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name, for the Dixie Fire canopy trees. For putting trees in. So we're starting to really look nice, and I think it looks pretty good.
You can see our first flag hanging there with a few of us volunteers. And last June, we were finally ready to open, and we had a grand opening weekend. Now here we are 1 year later. Thanks to the Rotary for the bushes, flowers, and drip watering system, and to Mickey Trammell of the Dixie Fire Canopy Project for the trees.
We didn't rehearse, can you tell?
And we didn't put this together.
Yeah, right. Well, we're full, as you can see. We have all kinds of items like we did before, not as many, of course, but we're doing the best we can. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 3. So we appreciate your business and your donations.
At our celebrations, we will honor those 28 individuals in 3 different groups. I don't know what the groups are, and 12 organizations that helped us with money and supplies. We promise not to read off all the names, but they'll get their certificates of recognition. Thanks especially to the Greenville Rotary and the group we call the SWAT Committee that attempted to create a community gathering place.
Finally, we will unveil the hand-carved memorial bench that was donated to us for Corky Porterfield, whom we lost last November. Her daughter, Jennifer Myers, will uncover the bench today. You get a sneak peek at what it looks like. It's covered right now. The bench will be in front of the thrift shop for people to rest. It was created by Eric of Rose Island Cabinets in Portola. He donated it to us, by the way. And it's made from wood from trees that burned in the Dixie Fire. So, and it will also have plaques on it eventually.
So come eat. Robin made a bunch of cupcakes.
And we hope to see you all.
Okay, now, time for share outs. Katie, you've got something you want to say? I also have something I want to say as well, so next month, the DFC is doing like an offsite strategy meeting about kind of how to spend or how to prioritize or how to think about the 1.4 million that we've got left. So if you've got things in your head that you're thinking, I think the DFC should really spend money on this or that kind of thing, then find one of your DFC reps, DFC people in the room. Can you put your hand up? Steering committee. So there's 3 of us in the room. So if you have thoughts and feedback, then that's very welcome because we're going to be coming together to make some decisions next month. Okay, Katie.
Thank you very much. Hey, it's good to be a green villain again. Been way too long. But the first thing I want to talk about is the little dozer that did children's musical play, which will have its premiere opening on August 2nd in Quincy at the West End Theater. So this is an original musical production that will all be acted out by our children at the West End Theater for 2 performances on Friday, August 2nd in the evening, and Saturday, August 3rd for a matinee performance. So there's only 100 seats available for each performance. So if you want to go, get your tickets as soon as they're available. And it's fascinating working with the theater group because working with so many wonderful creative people, but trying to get a project through, it's a lot like herding cats. And so we don't have our tickets together because it's all volunteers and people who are passionate about it. And it's a beautiful group of people to work with. Anybody who wants to get involved the week before that, the whole production is put together in a single week as part of the summer drama camp. So it's just going to be a week of amazing experiences if anybody wants more amazing experiences in their life. So August 2nd and 3rd, the little dozer that did children's musical play in Quincy at the West End Theater. And then also on August 3rd, that'll be the first Saturday of the month, which means it's open house at Ayub House, next to my home, next to Plymouth Bank. First Saturday of every month, we have a big celebration that's open to everybody in the community, in the valley, all of Plymouth County. It's just, we haven't had too many people yet, and I'll look forward to having that problem someday, maybe. Right now, come last month, we didn't have a storm. We had 5 months in a row where there was a storm, not only a storm, but the peak of the storm right when we were having our open house. And still, we had grand parties. So this month it's going to be Kenny Davis and Friends doing their crazy eclectic music coming over from Quincy, all kinds of stuff. So tons of fun. And then in August, we have Rickety Bridge coming. So a party every month there. And finally, I just want to let people know that the Greenville Lives sign out there on the street, I purchased that property and I've got a business development project going there. If anybody wants to talk to me about it, they can. It's way in the early beginning stages, but if anybody's interested, come talk to me. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, do people have, so for the speakers today, just put your hand up if you're a speaker today. So does anyone have questions for our speakers? Speakers don't have to come up, but people have questions for the speakers. Any questions? Okay, here we got a question here.
Joe, I'm just kind of curious about landscape, roads. You say you're gonna, roads that are off into the forest for people who want to cut wood or anything like this, what's the hazard rate there? Are you closing some of those roads so trees won't fall onto people? What's the skinny there?
We haven't closed them yet. A lot more trees falling this year. That, I'm getting a lot more reports, and that makes sense, right? 3 years since the fire started to deteriorate and snap off for the most part. So I'm getting more calls from people that need access to their property or better access to their property. Yeah, Round Valley Road, another private landowner, this gentleman that one called and said, he's just got to keep a chainsaw in his car every time he tries to leave his place because there's trees falling across the road, which makes sense, because they do fall. We haven't closed any roads though. We're just at this point just relying on our resilience, right? I mean, and people's common sense or whatever. If it's windy, you got to be exceptionally careful. But yeah, eventually we'll try to get to all of them, Julian, especially and we're trying to prioritize as as funding comes available, like the more frequently used roads. But yeah, we haven't had any discussions about closing off roads for like wood cutting, et cetera. But yeah, people need to be, well, if you're going wood cutting, you got a chainsaw because you don't want to be trapped in there. Like the road might be fine going in, but on the way out, you'll find a tree has fallen across the road. And I'd be just very careful if there's any kind of breeze or wind going on, because that'll increase the number of fallen trees. But we haven't like shut roads down because of that. And I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but people have to be careful out there. Does that help? Okay.
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Danny.
Doug. So along that, you haven't closed any forests yet then either, because we've got a hazard walking out through any forest that was previously burned. So that's my back ways around to come. What about removal of the trees that were burned?
So right now as I mentioned in April, we're funding limited primarily. We're pursuing one project here near Greenville, about 400 acres. That'll be the first one. Take the burned trees out, start reforestation efforts. We're trying to get enough funding. I think we got that lined up for this year. We need to, since the NEPA won't quite be done at that point, we need to pursue another method, but I think we're on the way to doing that. So the goal is to get started on that one sometime this fall. Yeah, it's only 400 acres, and then there's another part of that would be a green project near Taylorsville, where the Firewise has gotten some Sierra Nevada Conservancy money. So there's land adjacent on Forest Service that would be important to thin. That's the start. And then, yeah, we're just gonna have to try to find funding and do more and more and chip away at it.
I also have a question for Joe. Do you have a ballpark estimate for what you spent on getting EA this far? I know you have a contract with SI. Can you tell us the amount of that?
Yeah, I think I can just probably share the agreement with you. I think that's public information. I'll just double check and make sure there's nothing proprietary in there or whatever. I don't want to give a number off the top of my head here.
It's public.
Yeah, right. I'll send it to you, but I don't have the number off the top of my head as to what the NEPA effort cost. I'll just say million, maybe 1.5, somewhere in that range roughly for the NEPA effort.
And how do you track for these various projects? How do you track your funding on them? If I wanted to find out spent on the West Central, for example, to date, how would I find that? Who tracks that?
So the Central West is yeah, that's the green project or green forest project near all along, basically in place that hasn't burned yet on the forest or near communities. So we track it closely. There's different project managers for each. I think Jane, you should just start with Tamara Schmidt, Public Affairs Officer, and she'll direct you to the right person if you want to try to track down, depending for like Central West. I'm not even sure who's the project manager, but we're watching it close. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jane.
Is Joan still here? Oh, she's so little. I can't see her. Hi, Joan. I had a question about FEMA. I don't know how FEMA works. Is there any chance that public input would help to get the point across? They're still helping with the campfire, which was a year before ours, and the other one over by Tahoe, which was a little after ours. So I'm not sure why they're skipping over us. Maybe there's just not enough feedback.
They help on different levels, in different areas, in different ways. But no, the answer is no. FEMA is an entity unto themselves.
They don't care what we have to say, huh?
No, Unfortunately, they don't care what we have to say. They don't care what the public has to say. It's all driven by, you know, upper management, by their rules and regulations, by, they have a certain set of standards. They look at all statistics. Unfortunately, we are statistics. And that's, you know, that's the way they look at things. And it also goes by density of population, by all of these different numbers that they put together and that sort of thing. And the fact that we're small, unfortunately, puts us in a different position. Paradise has a different demographic. It also has a different proximity to Chico, which gives it a different projection as far as its recovery ability. I mean, all of these things are all in a projectable table and all of that, which has nothing to do with our hearts. It has
Well, it's
nothing to do with, you know.
It's not only that, we don't have anything. I mean, we lost our whole town and we are the whole shopping
Exactly,
area and stuff. so it
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense.
But it's, like I said, it has nothing to do with our ability as human beings, unfortunately. You know, and like I said, it's not just FEMA, it's a lot of other organizations too, the way all of this funding goes together. It's all based on a conglomeration and a consortium and all of those sorts of things. But it's, you know, it's beyond my ability to understand how it all works. I just know that they take a look at numbers, they take a look at projections, they take a look at where they're going to get the biggest bang for their buck. It has a lot to do with politics, and all of those sorts of things. And it just breaks my heart, but it had, you know, we have no big club to hit them over the head with.
Yeah, and actually, I was, that question just still with you, John, it is really on that topic is. And I was gonna ask, and it was already stated that they're still serving the campfire. And so how much longer are they projected to end the campfire or service or not? But the other thing comes back is, okay, we can understand, well, we don't. We know the political situation, why the Caldor fire is still being addressed because Caldor money. I mean, people up there at the big bucks, they lost the big houses and all that. And but then we look at it, you know, the campfire in Paradise, the proximity, that's just it. The proximity to Chico and some of the other places to get resources in and help, it's there and the light's there, but we're up here on the mountain in the middle of nowhere, we can be forgotten about it. And I'm hearing, and I don't know how, and it's most unfortunate with the question asked, what can we do? Could we add a voice, talk to FEMA, get them to realize, but it's a numbers game, but all right, I'm an engineer and I've worked through numbers and look at things and, you know, you can do statistics. You know, you've heard of, there's lies, damn lies and statistics. It's really how you work it together in order to prove your case. So
Well,
that's what kind of what they're doing and they have theirs. You could come up with your statistics, but if it doesn't match theirs, they're going to throw yours away. But we hear you. And
You said there's a meeting a month or two away with FEMA and they're gonna come here, you said?
it's just one representative.
And what's the point of that? What's the point of that meeting?
That they just come and I'm not exactly sure. You'd have to speak with my boss. I'm not sure what the focus of that particular meeting is, whether it's a cleanup meeting, whether it's in fact, I'm not even sure if it's a FEMA meeting because they're different. I'm not sure which representative they're sending. It could be from Red Cross, it could be from somebody else, but it's attached to the ending of the contract that we have. So I probably shouldn't have brought it up because I don't know exactly who is coming. It's just one person, so that should tell you right there how interested they are in us. This person will probably come and walk around and ask 3 questions and leave. And that will be considered their interest in our town, you know, and we have to look at our population too. You know, Paradise is bouncing back and showing, you know, life now after 4 years or so. And their population is returning, and they didn't lose a lot of their population because they were able to relocate to Chico, a lot of their population very close to their area, which was unfortunate for us because a lot of the places that we would have been able to relocate people closer to us were already taken by the Chico people as far as rental housing and things like that, which put us in an unfortunate place of having to try and find places for people further and further away from our home area. But they're looking at numbers, and you know, that's why they're still having an interest in Paradise, because they're seeing, first of all, they're seeing bounce back there, that they didn't have the problem with the soil there in Paradise either. They didn't have a lot of those things that we've had to deal with. They had Home Depot right practically in their back pocket. So, I mean, we've had problems having Home Depot deliver to us. They won't even, I mean, we rebuilt our house. We started rebuilding. We were in the process of putting the foundation in when the fire came. And we were having problems then getting deliveries. And that was before the fire. So, I mean, even then we were having that hurdle trying to rebuild. So, you know, it's a complex situation, but it always ends up, it's always about 2 things, money and power. It's always about that. And we don't have either one of those things. And it's also in the interest of the world nowadays is not interested in rural America. They just wish we'd go away and hide. They could care less about us. And it's very, very sad. It's very sad. And it breaks my heart because this is where I live and love, you know, and for us to fight for our community. That's why I'm so proud of these people, because we ain't down and we ain't gonna be down. And we're gonna fight for it despite the fact that people do want to help us. The heck with them, we're gonna have our community and we're gonna build it back better. And that's why I'm so proud to be a member of this community. And I think we're wonderful. And I think our hearts are wonderful. And that's why we're proud to be part of this rebuild.
Joan, I have a question for you while you've got the phone. Do we know when this person is coming, and can we
I
meet
can't-
them as a group? No,
I mean, it wouldn't do good.
but if the community is there for it, when they're there, they're gonna see that we are not giving up a nation either.
The point is, you never meet with anybody with power. You're gonna talk to somebody who's just like me, who probably really does care about you, because they've taken the time to come and drive up here. I mean, the people I meet with, they're people just like me. They care. They do this job not because it's a job, but because they're people who care about other people.
So we're talking about FEMA, who are employed by us as citizens. We pay their salaries. Why don't they meet with us?
Exactly.
And,
Well, why are we electing people who don't represent us? You know? That's my question. That's my question. Why are we paying taxes on money that is owed to us for a disaster? And why are we still waiting? And why are our politicians that we elected not fighting for us. This is ridiculous. But it's a system. So, you know,
Money.
like I said, it's all about power and it's all about.
Thank you, Joan. I have one more question for Joe. You can stay right there. How do we view the map of the proposed trails you were referring to?
It'll be, when we get that notice out in the press release, there'll be a link to the website. And if you're having any trouble navigating that website, it's pretty easy though, but you'll find it in there. It's in Appendix A of the document, the draft environmental assessment. So yeah, they'll find it in there in Appendix A, and you'll get a link and it'll go live June 28th.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, everybody. So we'll call it a day. Please, everyone hang out. There's some snacks and drinks at the back. So hang out, chat, ask some more questions for the presenters and all that stuff. So thank you very much for coming today.